Hello from the Dreamport Discord server. I'm ShadowsPub bringing you Pimp Your Post Thursday. On the show today, we'll share posts, meet others, and have some fun. You can share your own post or someone else's you really like. Take part, drop the PYPT emoji into the show text channel. I'll add you to the list to take a turn sharing posts. When I call on you, add your post link to the text channel and come on voice to tell us about it. Keep it brief, like a short commercial for the post. If you can't do voice, it's okay. You can share by text, but the text and the link must be dropped ready to paste into the text channel when I call on you. You can have more than one turn, but you must use the emoji for each turn. All right, let's get started. And helps if I turn off those notifications, which all of a sudden decided to get really frequent. There we go. I put that to an end. And Mick, nope, Katie Girl's up first.
Well, I shared a post a couple of weeks ago from Ecency where they were adding support for MetaMask in their DApp. And Keychain had been working on that as well. It was kind of a race to see who got it out first. And um, Keychain is not necessarily integrating MetaMask, but they are including support for EVM in their DApp. So you can, work with your BNB tokens and all this stuff from within Keychain. And they're getting to the testing phase right now. And you can kind of keep a watch out for the real version to go live very soon. And I think this is a cool step forward for Hive.
I don't think it's a bad thing that they're not integrating MetaMask.
What is EVM standing for?
That's a good question.
It stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine, and it includes
Ah,
tokens like BNB and others that Telos. You probably heard Telos, TELOS, and
nope,
BNB, and
nope.
some other. Yeah, well, they're those are tokens and coins that are based on the Ethereum model.
Ah, I stopped using Ethereum something like 6 years ago. So no, I have no clue.
Yeah, the only time I've had a crypto wallet compromised has been MetaMask. So I'm not a fan.
I can imagine.
Oh, hang on a minute. Thought I heard somebody tapping on the inside door, but it must have been just the handyman in the back room. All right, Mick, you're up.
Okay, let's start with this one.
Okay. Hello, Emrys.
I've been doing a photographic challenge for April, and that means every day you have to make a photo that's something else. And this was 5 days ago, I think.
What filter did you use?
No filter.
They were just red by nature. Ah, there we go. Now we got away from the red. Nice.
I have this portable LED light, and that can actually show every color you like. So I put it on red, put it in the washing machine, and that's the result.
I thought that's what that was. That's so cool.
Red LED inside the washing machine. Now that is different. And
Yeah.
I take it you did a blue one inside the washing machine.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and people were guessing all kinds of things about what it could be or what it should be, and that was fun.
Well, it's got an almost, I don't know, almost a psychedelic look to it without there being multiple colors. And then once you say it's in the washing machine, you're kind of like, oh yeah, now that accounts for it. That's pretty cool. All right, thanks, Mick and Artemis. You're up.
Okay. Oops, sorry, just finishing my. Okay. This one is one of Shadow's daily echoes. And the message is interesting, but what I want to know is what the heck is a spinny or a spiny?
Spinny actually is a closely enclosed group of trees. So if you take a look at the image, there's a group of trees there that's enclosed on an almost an island-like setup.
Ah, okay, so this makes a lot of sense to me now.
Yeah, there's a lot of words on April's list that I'm going to be learning as I go because they're words I've never seen before.
I'll say.
And that was one of them. Oh, what the hell's is spinny? That's okay. To give you a little bit of a sneak peek, today's word was palfrey. Palfrey. And what would you guess that would be?
No idea.
It's a well-trained horse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Seke has
Okay.
won the 3 HBI.
Congratulations.
So yeah, this is going to be an interesting month. And Seki. Oh, I didn't counter it. I've got him on the list. Thank you, kitty girl. All right. Seki, you're up.
All right. This was a story. It really just came to me. It really just came to me, really. So it's a story, and I had the inspiration to use my WhatsApp background to do it. It really just like it was. It had to be one of the shortest stories I've ever written, and it came out pretty well. Call it a flash. I think they call it flash fix, something of the sort. Yeah, less than 30 minutes I was through editing and everything. So yeah, it was pretty quick, pretty nice. Read, leave your comments. Thanks.
So you were doing like a microfiction.
Um, I would call it a microfiction based on the time it took me to write, but it is like a standardized amount of words that I use on my normal story, which is around that 500, 400 to 500 words. So it's just a normal sized short story, right? But it took way shorter time than how I normally use. So yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just get inspired. Yeah, 500 words is short. Anything below that is pretty close, is pretty much micro.
Ah. Oh.
So I've read. I don't know who decides these things. And Mick, you're up.
Already?
Well, it's a large crowd.
Yeah, but I didn't want to jump the line.
You didn't.
Then it's okay. This is another post for me from another day, just with nature photography mostly. mostly reflections in the water with clouds. We had a lovely sunny day.
You can tell it's spring. He's got dandelions in the picture. Very nice ones. Yeah, your flowers are well in advance. I don't think ours are out. Are they, Artemis?
Not much. Daffodils, crocuses, odds and ends like that.
Because they can survive the cold snaps.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we're still getting the cold snaps.
we had snow
800.
yesterday.
Oh, you had snow yesterday. We didn't.
In the morning, we had a dusting of it.
Ah, well, I'm glad it just dusted you. All right, Kitty Girl, you're up.
Well, right before the show started, we were talking about the guest on Hive Thrive this week, and he struck again. He's put out another game. This is a Connect Four type game that you can play, and you can also challenge other people and play against other people on the blockchain, which is a really cool idea. Especially since we're spread out all around the world. That doesn't mean we still can't play games together. So, yeah. So, check out his Connect 4. And somebody suggested that he create an arcade of all of his games together in one place. I hope he does that. That'll really be fun.
It would be. Yeah, he
Well, if
really.
there is going to be an arcade, they should include all the games, hyper related.
Well, that would be good if somebody took that project on. But if he chose to just put an arcade of the ones he's developed, that's fair enough too.
Sure.
Well, there are places where people can list their games if they will just do it. Keychain and on hive.io, you could go to ecosystem and see under the gaming tab all the games people have listed. And then hiveprojects.io, there's a gaming tab there too. It's just a lot of the developers forget to do it. They forget to go and list their game. But, if Beggars were to create one page that had all of his games on it, it would help. And then he could just list that.
Yeah, he does like doing these little projects too. It was interesting. We were talking to him on Tuesday. He likes the idea that doing a short project that gets completed is much more satisfying than taking on a big project that ends up by the wayside or takes forever and becomes a drag. And I really like that approach. That's very pragmatic. And
Yeah, it's
Emrys,
better to start so.
go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's better to start something that you know you can finish than just start something and put a lot of energy in and it goes to waste.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause it can take a lot out of you, and particularly if you decide to release it, an early version of it, and then you get the public weighing in and making demands.
Yeah, and that's also a good way to grow a project. Like Keychain started out really simple. All Keychain would do was sign transactions on the blockchain, period. That's it.
Yep.
And then they thought, well, gee, what if we could add this feature too, where you can delegate Hive power, and so they added that and so forth and so on. Then, look at where it's come today.
Well, we've been in that closed beta on Ripley for what 3 months, just over 3 months,
Yeah,
and we're watching. There's only about 100 people in that beta, and we're watching some of the stuff that they so-called um, feature requests and they're actually feature demands. And I'm like, wow, as if there isn't enough work for a developer to do, you got to deal with the egos of people that think that they know how better how to develop something without doing any developing. That's a lot of strain on people. Imris, you're up. All right, that's quite a title. Victims of Justified Crimes. Tell us about this, Imris.
Okay. Um, so this is one of the most sensitive topic I've written in a while. I've written on in a while. So the post is a response to Ivan prompt, and the prompt was about if minors should get juvenile justice. And there are some countries that allow juvenile, like allow minors that receive juvenile justice the privilege of getting a clean slate after they are above 18. So the prompt was not thinking, okay, if they should receive such privileges, then what happens to the society that doesn't get the record of the crimes they have committed, and what happens to the victims of their crimes. So in the post, I was trying to not sound too cold and not too unforgiving, because the reality is that the victims of crimes committed by a minor suffer the same consequences regardless of the age of the offender. So that's what the post generally is about. So you can read it to get more details about it.
That's a topic that gets heavily debated in a lot of countries, I think. Well, it certainly has been in this country, is how to deal with young people when they commit crimes or are accused of crimes for that matter.
I mean, the area I'm thinking of is that do they get to, get a clean slate after they have reached a particular age and just, get into the society like normal people who have never gotten involved in any form of crimes before?
Hmm. We had a case back in the 50s. I think it was the late 50s, early 60s, where a young 14-year-old boy was accused of rape and murder of a young child. Well, not a young child, another teenager. And he actually at one point was sentenced to death. And it turned out after many years of advocating and fighting for him that he was acquitted. He was found that there had been issues in the investigation, there had been issues in the actual trial, and he ended up being unconditionally discharged. But it brought about a lot of debate on how to deal with young people, both accused and convicted of crimes in this country.
Yeah, but then it is a very wild world. Like, how do we get to guarantee that those people who have committed crimes when they were minor won't end up committing the same crimes when they become adult? Like, logically, they are still the same people almost. Like, they still have the same personality. So when you give them a clean slate and release them back to the society, without the public getting the advantage of knowing about their record, you just kind of endanger the entire public in general, because they don't know about the pyros of those people. Though they might be minors when they committed those crimes, but still, there are still people that we still need to watch out. Like, we don't know what they will turn out to be when they become adults.
I think one of the big arguments has been at what age is a child, a minor, able to understand the gravity of what they've done.
Sorry.
As adults, we know the gravity, but at what age do we expect minors to understand?
That depends on the state of mind of the adult.
Well,
Exactly.
it does, and there is claims of mental incapacity. But the question is, in developing minds, where do we expect them to actually understand what they're doing? And that's been a major debate. I don't know. With the intelligence of some kids I've met, some of them would fully understand better than some adults.
Yeah, if it suits their benefits.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably a question that'll never fully get answered, but good for you for tackling it, Emrys. But then you like tackling stuff like this.
Yeah, yeah, it's a kind of niche.
It is, isn't it? But it creates, it creates conversation, gets people thinking. Good job. Thank you, Emrys. And Artemis, you're up.
This is another one of Shadow's daily echoes. I love this image. And I love the statement. Oh, the word is reed bed. And I love the statement, we can't stop life from happening.
That is for sure. It's what we do with it. Yeah, I did like the blues in that.
That's gorgeous.
Some tickle decided it wanted to get into my throat. Mick, you're up.
Up to getting to your throat or what?
Pardon? that's what we were. That's what we get. We were talking about the Quebecers earlier. There's a slang for them.
Ah, okay.
Artemis just got it.
Oh well, another walk in the lovely area that I live in. This time at sunrise, early in the morning, with some hair frost still on the grass.
Oh, look at those dewdrops. Those are gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Like little pins of light. The way the light catches the dewdrop. See what people don't get to appreciate when they get up later in the day.
Well, for those of us who aren't morning people, Mick can get up and do the looking for us. Thank you, Mick.
And the
Agreed with you, Kitty.
And the good news on that, it gives Mick a purpose for taking pictures other than the fact he enjoys them. It's like, oh, there's people that just can't be bothered seeing it. They can see it anyways.
Well, they might eventually appreciate it, but hey,
I think we appreciate your photography. Or you talking about others, not us.
no, people still throwing out trash in nature. That's what I actually meant,
Oh,
not appreciating it.
true. Empress, what do you got for us now? Oh, I just got a 500. That's weird.
Oh,
Oh, now it's back. We're good now. Okay, go ahead.
Um, Concerning this post, this is also a post in response to one of Ivlena's prompt, which was about giving up privacy for extra security. So the prompt stated that if we had the opportunity to allow the government to conduct excessive and extra surveillance on the citizens, just so that we can be more safe, like would it be something that we're willing to consider? So in my response, I think I allowed my distrust for the government to kind of blur the message of the post, because I was like, there's this misunderstanding we have about the concept of the government, because most times we tend to see the government as an entity, like a machine. We don't see the government as an entity like a machine. Like for instance, we don't see it as a bunch of people who are just performing their duties, which means they're humans capable of making mistakes. Now imagine we adding over our data to such people to handle, and then in the long run, they end up using the data for their own personal use. What then happens to those people that trust them with their own data? So I was like, instead of trusting the government with our data, we should just be the one capable of protecting our own privacy instead of choosing security over it. So those are the kind of points I highlighted in the post. So you can click on it and read more about it.
I was reading a article the other day that is almost scary in a very big sense. It was talking about the company Palantir, which has billions of dollars in contracts with, in particular, the American government, but there's also other world governments. And one of the things it's able to do is, that data that those third parties are collecting on us as we move around the web? They could purchase that data on behalf of the government and untangle it enough to actually identify people within it so that they add information to your individual government file. It's like
And that's the funny thing about
the
that's the funny
government
thing
doing.
about majority of these apps. Like most people that I've known, even including me, whenever we are interacting with this third party app, whenever they receive this pop-up about consent, you just click on it without reading it. Like you don't really know how they're going to make use of our data or even care about how our data is going to be processed. You just click on I accept, I accept, and just to launch the app.
It's kind of scary at just how much data that can be collected. In many ways, they can end up knowing more about you than you know about yourself.
And still, you can still block it.
You can block a certain amount of it.
Oh yeah, if you have the right setup at home in your network.
Hmm. It's going to kind of get to the point that it's going to be all like a big blockchain where everything is out in full view because there's just nothing else to be private with. And Artemis, you are up.
Okay, I have to do one more of Shadows Echoes because this one's cool. It's sorrel, which I always thought of as a plant. I'm like, how are you going to do this one? When we offer our authentic self shaped by clarity and vital contrast, we add a distinctive flavor and balance to the world. That was a good one.
Which is why Maria decided to do an impromptu space on it last night.
I like it.
Oh, sorrel. Understand. I thought you said sorrow.
Show the
Oh,
Bergerac.
Sorry.
Everest, you won the NFT, and if you want to see what it looks like, just scroll back up in the Draws for Shows channel. That's okay, Nick. This lady over on Twitter, she runs a community called the Gratitude Community, which is the only reason I even stay on Twitter is her community. And I post my echoes in there every day. And she texted me and she said, "Are you around that we can do an impromptu space?" She says, "I just love this echo," and I went, "Sure." And she entitled the space Gratitude for trees. And I'm looking at the title and I'm thinking, trees? Hmm. So we get into the space and it turned out that she actually thought sorrel was a tree, not just a plant. Oh, well, they're kind of large plants, trees are.
Well, they can be large, but you can also buy them very small
True.
and keep them as a bonsai.
And we had a good laugh over that when she realized and she went, oh, it's a plant. A plant that actually can come in many shapes. When I when I get a word that's a plant, I will usually go to Google and look up pictures of it so that when I'm selecting images, I come fairly close to the actual plant. And I was actually surprised at the number of shapes that it has. It's almost like a family of plants.
Yeah, you have the same thing with nightshade.
Mmm, kitty girl, you're up.
Potatoes, tomatoes.
True enough.
Well, I was actually able to publish another post this week.
Whoa!
um, and this one is talking about meatloaf. It's a recipe. We were talking about meatloaf in the Hive Discord the other day, and um, it reminded me how I'd been intending to post this recipe for a long time, but I kept forgetting to make the pictures. I'd fix the meatloaf and I'd sit down to eat a plate of it, and then, oh, I forgot to make the pictures. I'll do that next time. And the next time would come and I'd forget to do it again. But I finally did it. I made pictures of everything along the way, and got the post out. And I think this is a valuable post, if I should say so myself, for several reasons. Number one, it teaches people recipes are a general blueprint for making a dish. And there's so many people that they want to know how much salt, how much pepper, how much of this, how much of that. Well, recipes are to taste. You got to have a little flour, a little oil, a little this, a little that, and it's not an exact science usually. Baking, yeah, you need a certain amount of everything to make your cake turn out like a cake. But when it comes to stuff like meatloaf and casseroles and stuff, it's flexible. You go with the flow, and I'm hoping to teach people that in this post. Also, I have included substitutes for vegans and vegetarians, so everybody can make a quote unquote meat loaf. Um, and as the lead in to get people to read this post, I do talk about getting naked in the kitchen. So there.
Talk about a lost leader.
This is a great post, Kitty.
It is. I've been staying away from buying hamburger unless it's on special these days, largely because of the blooming cost of it. But that's an interesting possibility of using like beans or lentils.
Well, that's one of the reasons I use ground turkey instead of ground beef because it's cheaper
Mm-hmm.
and it has less saturated fat in it, you know. But you could use anything. I mean, if your husband goes hunting and brings home a deer every year, use venison. But yeah, people that are vegetarian, they can eat it with lentils or mushrooms instead. Yeah, crumbled veggie burgers, whatever. There's so many possibilities.
Yeah, venison would not be a thing. Not for me, anyway.
Well, I've only had venison one time, and I thought it was fine. It's not something I'd want to eat every week, maybe, but it was fine. But I know a lot depends too on how it's cooked, probably. And the person who served it, he had a bunch of us over for a cookout, and so there were burgers on the grill as well as chicken breasts and other things. And he had a few pieces of venison there for anybody that wanted, and I thought, well, I want to get a real small piece and taste it and just see what it's like. So I know it was cooked well.
I've successfully prepared bear meat and enjoyed it, but I've never enjoyed venison.
And there's your
Oh, I
proof not
used
to
to
mess
work with
with
a guy that would,
shadows.
oh, go ahead, Artem.
Oh, sorry, I was just being a smartass. Go ahead, Kitty.
Well, I was just saying, I remember working with a guy years and years ago. He and his brothers would go out every year. They had a big family and they lived in a very rural area. So they actually went out every year and hunted a bear and would stock their freezer with that bear meat. And he would come into work every night with his own meals, sandwich or something of some kind. And there was one night I asked him, when we were getting ready for lunch break, and I say night because we were working the third shift. So at like 3 a.m. we would take our quote unquote lunch break. And yeah, I'd ask him, Jerry, what you bring tonight for dinner? And there was one night he said, I've got me a bear burger. And made, like ground beef, he'd make the bear meat ground and make a patty and bring it in. It was so funny hearing him talk about bear burgers.
It would. This was bear steak that somebody had given my husband, and he brought it home, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what the am I going to do with this? So I have the book, The Joy of Cooking. So I did some searching in there and how to prepare it. I marinated it in wine and herbs for about 2 days, and then I cooked it, and both of us enjoyed it. Went to the same
Now, was the
source.
marinating
Part. Go ahead.
was the for general seasoning purposes, or did the marinating help to take out the gaminess?
Took the gaminess out and made the meat more tender.
Oh, tenderizing too. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Tried the same approach when he brought venison in. Couldn't come close. Frank liked it, but I didn't. So I was 50% successful on that one. And Emrys has won the. I did tell him he won the NFT. Wake up, Artemis. You're up.
Okay.
She's thinking about it.
I had to pick another one because Kitty shared her own post. Oh, it didn't take. Hang on a minute.
Artemis liked it
Oh,
so good she's sharing it the second time.
There's
there we go.
leftovers.
There we go. I thought this was really cool. I don't know how to pronounce the name properly. Todos or Tudos Santos in Baja California, sir. They have really cool street sculptures. I thought these were amazing.
Hmm.
Does sound like a spell.
Well, when you look at it, first thing inclination is to just call it a to do. That sounds like a task.
It does. There's even a really cool, colorful owl.
Ooh, that'd get your attention. Those actually might be more fun to have on a streetscape than the street murals that was all the rage several years back.
Yeah, these are really neat.
I like that peacock.
Me too. We have metal sculptures around London and downtown there are metal trees and they're different colors. And a lot of people say that they're wasted money or a waste of money, but I think they're really nice and they add a nice flavor to the down to the yeah, excuse me, to downtown. Mind you, in recent years, with the unhoused growing in great numbers downtown, it doesn't have the best of flavors anymore.
Yeah, that if they'd used the money to deal with the unhoused situation. Although I understand that you have a unfortunately it's way out at the edges. They you do have a bit of a, a solution underway there. What are they, sleeping pods or tiny houses or something?
Yeah, they call them pods. They're like a little tiny house, and they're kind of a little distance out of town. So it's hard for some of them to get back and forth and doing things. I believe they have a shuttle.
Well, that's
I'm
an
not sure.
improvement.
Hmm. We need more things like that.
Peterborough has a cluster of um, tiny houses that they've constructed there for the unhoused. There's a lot of opposition when people try to put them in, and you know when you give them the hand up like that, it does move more of them into regular housing when it's available.
That's for sure.
That's some interesting art there.
That's really sad to hear people saying things like this is a waste of money or time. I mean, how boring would the world be without any art? I mean,
Exactly.
give me a break.
I agree.
And you know, some people that's their talent in life is art. Um, why would you not give them some type of expression?
And a lot of really good initiatives come out of art.
Yep. Some people have some.
Yeah, because art makes people think. And when people think, other things can happen.
Oh, there's the problem. Some people are not thinkers or anything.
Or they think, but only about themselves.
Yeah, are in such a narrow view that they have nowhere to actually expand. So, anybody else got anything they want to share today? Okay. Oh, we didn't do too bad. Ah, Kitty Girl's got another one. She's going to be the PH today.
Yeah, since PH isn't here, somebody's got to do it. Well, I don't know why it's not putting the preview up.
Yeah, it's odd. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, anyway, by one of my favorite authors on Hive. I love when I see a post from River Flows in my feed every day. She is a very good writer. And, even a mundane ho hum post about everyday life, putting up a shelf, whatever, she can make it so interesting the way she words it. Her choice of wording and the imagery in her head and whatnot, is what really gives life to what she says. And this particular post I thought Artemis might enjoy because she's talking about some crocheting and knitting that she's doing. And then she has a side note about Isadora Duncan, the famous dancer. And there's even a model in here modeling one of the things that she's put together. And I thought this was really cool. Now, she lives in the southern hemisphere, so she's bracing for winter as we're coming into summer in the northern hemisphere. And that might be part of why she's doing this particular post this time of year. But um, this may give some of the crocheters and knitters some ideas for projects they want to work on for the wintertime, wherever it comes in your part of the world.
This is really cool. I love that title.
Yeah, very catchy title.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of caught my attention the other day. We were in a meeting, and I think it was that person from New Zealand who made a comment about the clocks falling back, and I'm back. We just went forward. Oh yeah, they're this other side of the world.
The toilets go
Oh, yeah, I
backwards.
read a post about that too this week, and I did a double take as well.
It's funny how we don't think about those details. That in a different part of the world, they're falling back instead of going forward. All right, you've been listening to Shadows Pub host Pimp Your Post Thursday. Thank you for joining us on PYPT, and join us next Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Until then, keep on creating, and it's all about community. Oh, yeah. Bye, Wilma.